Shalom, shalom, the good people, right? It is your brother Leon back with another video, right? Today's topic at hand is oaths, right? And oaths are no joke, especially talking about oaths with the Most High, right? In the last 2 weeks or so, we've been speaking about purification. We've been speaking about practices such as semen retention, celibacy, viewing ourselves as holy temples, as a royal priesthood, and things of the like. And something I want a lot of people to consider is by being a priest, right? By having a temple, that there's certain things that are required by us, right? And by simply walking this walk and following after the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? We have dedicated ourselves to the Most High. And I want everyone to take these dedications very serious, right? I want to first open up with the first verse today out of 1 Peter 2 and 9 to further cement our position. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people that shall show forth the praises of him who have called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. Right? Remember, chosen, royal, priesthood, a holy nation, set apart people. Right? And I would like to bring out, well, there's multiple different things that set us apart from others, but it's mainly the way that we decide to live our lives, the oaths and vows that we take to pursue and to fulfill, right? And I want to speak about one scrutinized scripture that I think is taken out of context, right? A lot of people would say that you should take no such thing as an oath. And on the front of that, they are very right. But there's a misunderstanding of what they mean. See, oaths in the past, right? A lot of people used to swear their allegiance onto deities, onto secret societies, and would put themselves as esteemed people, right? And when you took an oath, this was typically a blood oath, right? It was very satanic and a lot of the things that were done. But remember, Satan is a copycat and a stealer. He is the father of lies, right? And that there is an oath, essentially, that everyone of righteousness takes, which is to pursue and do the will of the Most High, right? And with that being said, I want to discuss this verse to further hone out this preposition, right? Matthews 5:33 through 37, right? This is Christ speaking. And again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself or take an oath, right? Or but thou shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. So what is saying? That you shouldn't be giving people, oh, I promise, or oh, I swear by the chinny chinny chin of my hair, or by I put my whole family, I put it on my mother's grave. No, no, you're supposed to, but thou shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. So, hey, I'm going to fast 8-10 days for such and such, right? Or that's the way that would be done correctly. But that's not how they were using it. They were still using it in a vain manner. For they were swearing upon heaven. They were swearing upon God. They were swearing upon the earth. They were swearing upon Jerusalem. And why I think so? Let's read next. Because of this. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither thou shalt swear by the head, because thou cannot make one hair or white or black. So they were swearing out of things that was out of their jurisdiction, out of their control, right? They were calling upon Well, practically, I wouldn't lie because I come from Jerusalem or because I'm Israel, right? And Christ was saying that that is wrong. You simply shouldn't do that by the aspect of, well, I'm putting this at stake or I'm putting that at stake. If you speak truth, you speak truth. If you say no, you say no. And I get this statement from what follows next, where it says, "But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whosoever is more than these cometh of evil." So whatever you say it is, let it be that. You don't have to go through these lengthy explanations. You don't have to prove yourself, right? In the aspect of, oh, well, I put my house on it. But a lot of people will take this as, oh, well, you can't take an oath to the Most High or for the Most High, right? Which, or make a declaration, right? And that is wrong. I want to make sure that that is clear. I've heard this before. I've thought that, some people are just not studied, and that's okay. Hopefully, this was edification. And actually, that these oaths, Christ was also saying these oaths as a way to protect these people, right? Because the Most High is not slack, right? You sow what you reap, right? And he's not going to tolerate people tarnishing his name, right? But I want to also speak and bring out one of the oaths that a lot of people know, which is the Nazarite vow. And I want to also speak out on following through of these oaths, right? And what they can lead to, good and the bad, right? So let's read a little bit about the Nazarite vow for those who are uninformed, right? It takes place in Numbers. It's it's in chapter 6, verses 1 to 21. I'm going to be brief about it. I'm going to read here a little and there a little, just so people can get the grasp of it, right? Study and show yourselves approved. And it says this, second verse, "Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite to speak themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink," right? And then it lists a few drinks, right? And it says, "All the days in his separation he shall eat nothing that is made of wine," right? Or kernels of the husk, right? It speaks about not shaving their head. It says this, "All the days of the vow, his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled, in which he separate himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow," right? It also says, not being unclean, talking about all the days of his separation himself unto the Lord. He shall not come at no dead body, right? And there's a few other things that speaks about the offering that he's supposed to bring, and so on and so forth, right? Now, following these vows and these oaths, there's much to gain, right? We are a peculiar people. We are the holy nation. We do separate ourselves from the Most High, right? A lot of people know about Samson, right? The Nazarene who took the Nazarite vow, right? And what strength that he gained, right? But as he started to break this oath, right, and then ultimately broke all of it after he cut his head or cut his hair, not due unto his own will, but due unto falling practically by breaking the law, right? Practically by not heeding wise judgment, discernment, right? Led to his downfall. Then we have another example of this is David, right? See, people like, well, what oath did David take? Well, there's certain rules that every king must follow, right? And then there's rules that every Israelite must follow. And that vow, that oath, that covenant that was made, it's a declaration, right? Then you have when David stumbled, and he took Bathsheba, right? And things of that sort, right? Have Solomon. Right? When you break these oaths, things do follow, right? People say that's just breaking the law, right? Well, I want to bring out two examples of oaths and how the Most High tests these oaths. Because sometimes these oaths aren't necessarily just following the law. I did bring up Nazarite one with Samson, right? And I did bring up one with David, right? But let's go and look at Abraham, right? And let's see what happens, right? I want to say that oaths do not always have to be verbal, right? An oath can be done by action, right? Because we have you sow what you reap. If you are one that hangs out or you assign yourself to a certain group simply by actions, well, then you will reap that same group and their actions. You have pledged your certainty of allegiance. Sometimes in gangs and what have you, or in fraternities and sororities, you have to do certain things to be accepted, right? There's certain actions you must follow. It's not just mere words, right? And I want to go to an example of this in the Bible, right? As far as I'm understood, Abraham did not take any oaths, or at least it's not recorded as far as I know. Did not take any oaths with the Most High verbally, but he did by action, right? And we get to view this in Genesis 12, 1 through 4. And it says this: Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of the country, and from thee kindred, and from thy father's house, and unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Right? So the Most High said, if you do X, Y, and Z, right, here is your reward. Right? And let's also read on. It says, I will bless thee that bless thee, and I will curse him that curse thee. And thy shall in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Right? Now it is written that Abraham departed. So Abraham departed, and the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Right? So, from the scripture standpoint, Abraham didn't say, yes, Lord, or I solemnly swear, Lord, but by heeding his ultimatum, right, he let his yes be his yes and let his no be his no. Right? So, and also later he wound up circumcising himself and his household, and that was another action that fermented the whole situation. Right? So why did I bring this up? Well, we all know that according to the law, right, we serve no other God before the Most High. Right? We fear the Most High. Right? We do whatever he wish. Right? And the Most High at times will test us, test our strength, test our obedience, test the oath that we made. Right? Let's read. It says in Genesis 22, verse 1 through 19, this is talking about Abraham and Isaac and the offering. And it came to pass from these days, from after these things, that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee. Right? And then the story, as we know the story goes, Abraham got everything necessary. He went to the mount and was ready to sacrifice his son. And then the angel stopped Abraham, and they offered a ram that the Most High provided, right? And people were like, well, that's not necessarily an oath that was taken. Well, the Most High said, follow him and go into these country, right? And do as he says, and he'll bless thee. That's an oath, right? Now I want to look at how it could have went on the other side. For people would say, well, the Most High doesn't value oaths that practically you didn't foresee, such as, right? This is why I wanted to go back to Matthew 5, and this is why Christ said it for your own protection, because this has happened in the past, right? An aspect: do not promise something that you cannot keep. Right? That is a whole message of this, and also that all the promises that you do make will be held against you, right? So, where am I going with this? A lot of people are not familiar with this story, right? And I think that it is important for us all to reflect on what these words and how powerful and how strong they really are. Like this explains why the words that we speak have great effect, let alone just the words, but the actions that must follow after those words, right? We all know about the situation when you say something and now it's either you fall and you let your pride get shambled, or you have to fight to save face. Words put a lot of things into action. They cause a lot of actions. For only then out, you have to react. So let's read on. Let me dilly-gag no longer. All right, let's get to Judges 11. And this is a story about Jephthah. I think I'm saying that correct. And we start on verse 29. Right? So, now we're going to read, and it says, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over, Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Meneth of Gilead, and from Meneth of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said, if thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into my hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. Oof. Anything. It said whatsoever, anything. This could be anything, right? That's the vow. He could have simply said, my fatted calf, my second fattest calf, or I'll go fast for 100 days, whatever. He could have said anything, but he said, I'm going to give you a burnt offering of whatever greets me first, right? Right. So let's read on. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them in his hands. Well, Mosiah said, bring it on. Right? He said, he smote them from error, even till thou cometh into Menaneth, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards with a great slaughter. Thus the children of Mammoth was subdued before the children of Israel. Most High gave it all. He said 20. He took 20 cities. 20 cities. He pushed them back into the farmland. Right? That's like someone coming to America, right, on the East Coast and pushing all the way back to the Midwest. Right? It might not have been that grand in the aspect of how the cities and states, but it is practically a sweeping defeat that you have to go hide, right, in your vineyards or in the farmland, right? We all understand that the cities and farmlands are separated. Now let's keep going on, right? So Jephthah came to Mezeph unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dance, and she was his only child. Beside her, he had neither son nor daughter. Sounds a lot like Abraham, first son, right? At 70 some years old, right? All right. It came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes. Why is he renting his clothes? Why is he tearing his clothes? And said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me a very low. Thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. He said, I made a promise. I made an oath. Now you see why Hamashiach say, hey, let your yes be your yes and let your no be your no. It's not because that he's saying these oaths are necessarily completely evil, right? The Nazarite vow isn't evil, right? It's 100% in your control, right? But when you promise on things outside of yourself, outside of your own obedience, this is what follows, right? Right? So let's read. And I cannot go back, he said. And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to which hath proceeded out of thy mouth, for as much as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thy enemies, even of the children of Ammon. She's saying, hey, you made a promise, do as you was told to do. Do as you promised. This is the Lord. And the Most High delivered. It is what it is, she's saying. Mind you, she's not aware of what the promise is, but she knows that, hey, it's the Most High. And she said unto her father, let this thing be done for me. Let me, hold up. No, actually she does know. My bad. Let's read on. And she said unto her father, let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up down unto the mountains and bewail my virginity and my fellows. And he said, go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. Right? She's crying because of the fact that she won't have a husband. She won't have children. Now, a lot of this is very hard to process for a lot of people. Let's read on. No. And it came to pass at the end of the 2 months that she returned unto her father. She did not run away. She did not, and she did not say this is unlawful. Who did with her according to his vow, which he had vowed. And she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel that the daughter of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year. For it was sad. But this is what happens when you make vows. Now, for a lot of you who are shaking your faith because you're like, well, how can the Most High take the innocent's blood? Right? What has she done to deserve to die? Right? Now, first of all, we are all sinners. So she probably did something that was deserving of death. That's one. But two, the concept of sacrificing for oneself, for a flock, or for others is not unheard of in Israel. Right? We have accounts with Moses. We have this account. We have the account with Christ. Right? And Christ said that the greatest thing you can do is to lay down your own life for your fellows, for your brethren. Right? So a lot of people still is like, this is wrong. This is not right. Let me explain something to you. The way that we view death is much different from the Most High. The way we view time is much different from the Most High. Now, for when we die, it is not the end of the world. It's the end of this world, but it's not over. We are spirits. We go onto either Abraham's bosom, or we go into the waiting place of the fiery shield, right? Until judgment. Right? Everyone is given a lifetime. Right? Everyone's given a lifetime. We have to remember this. Who may judge the Most High? For the Most High rules over all. This is why we are told to fear the Most High. This is why we are told to be in good standings with the Most High. And this is why we are cautious on the oaths that we make with the Most High. Right? Are you going to follow through? Because the Most High will test you. You saw it twice. Sometimes he may have mercy, right? As with Abraham, or grace. And he may provide an alternative. Right? Or other times, he may have you follow through. You cannot decide whether or not the Most High may have mercy or grace. You can decide on what your oath is. You can decide on what words you speak. Right? These are of no laughing matter. Now, I do want to say this. For those who still are bothered by the passage I read, I will link a video down in the description of, I think it's Hebrews building, right? And practically they go over and hone out this whole story and make a lot more sense, right? Actually, I implore everyone who watches this video so they don't carry a false notion or false precepts, because they have not dove into the whole sacrifices, right? But I would say this too, right? Before I close this video out, right? 2 Peter 3 and 8 through 9. It says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but his is long suffering towards us, or towards us ward, not willing that any shall perish, but that all shall come to repentance." Most High is not slack. He is not to be mocked. Let's bring this one up too. Galatians 6 and 7. "Be not deceived, God is not to be mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Right? He sold, you have to remember that he sold those words. He sold that action, that event with his words. Oaths have a lot of meaning. This is why we go back to Christ, and Christ say, hey, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. Right? Let it be over things that you can control. But I'm not saying this as an excuse not to submit unto the Most High's will. I'm not saying this as an excuse to only offer up a portion of yourself. Right? But know this. Be wise in all things that are good, and simple of all things that are evil. You know what? Let me bring that up for you. All right. I got it up for you guys. This is Romans 16, right? Verse 19. Right? For your obedience is come abroad unto all men. I am glad, therefore, on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise unto all that which is good and simple concerning evil. Right? So, be careful. Be wary of the words that you say. Be wary of the promises that you make. Be wise. Be wise. Right? So, with all that being said, right, these oaths, the law, statutes, commandments, considering yourself of Israel, that's an oath as well. You have certain actions that must follow as well. So, with that being said, I hope everyone was able to receive this message. May the Most High be with you. Shalom and peace.